substance. Oklahoma senior senator weighs in on the papal visit, and Norman school kids love high-tech learning. OU Nightly starts now. A busy first day in the nation's capital for Pope Francis.
The leader of the world's 1.2 billion Catholics was welcomed to the U.S. with a lavish White House ceremony. President Obama extended a warm welcome to Pope Francis on his first trip to the United States. The Pope thanked his hosts and the American people for their hospitality, then, as some have expected, addressed a number of controversial issues.
Climate change is a problem we can no longer be left to a future generation.
An increase of curiosity among...
We went around campus today to get students' reactions to the Pope being on U.S. soil. 2 members of St. Thomas More University Parish are hoping to see this historical event make an impact.
I'm really excited to hopefully see like an increase of curiosity among just, I guess, Americans in general. But there's a lot of hype with the Pope coming, and I hope that people can take that excitement and gear it towards wanting to learn more about what their faith should mean to them.
If I were to say one thing about the Pope's visit, it would be I would just advise people to actually take the time and read what he says versus what a lot of people say about him and about what he says, because people do like to take him out of context.
An Oklahoma politician gets ready for what the Pope may have to say. Tyler joins us now in the newsroom. Tyler?
Thank you, Amy. Congressman Tom Cole told me earlier that he expects the Pope to challenge viewpoints on both sides of the political aisle.
I would suspect if you looked at the speech in the political context, which frankly I don't think is particularly helpful, he'll say some things to please and offend members of both parties. For instance, I certainly don't agree with his position on the Iranian nuclear deal, but I don't doubt his sincerity in arguing that.
He's made some pretty assertive declarations, pretty controversial as well. Do you think he's going to dial back a bit when he talks to Congress, or you think he's going to be out in the open?
You know, he does impress me. And again, I can't tell you that I'm a practiced observer of the papacy, but he doesn't impress me as somebody that dials back. I think one of his most attractive features is that he tends to be direct and clear, but again, he speaks with humility and a soft voice. It's not strident, but it's like the call of Christianity itself.
Have they started?
Yeah.
You can watch my full interview with Congressman Tom Cole on OUNightly.com.
Up tomorrow. If anything, it gets more intense. The day starts at the Capitol, where Pope Francis does something that's never happened before. He addresses the joint session of the United States Congress. Later, he travels to Washington's St. Patrick in the city, where he will meet with clients of the Catholic Charities. At 4, he flies to New York City in time to celebrate evening mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral. A very long day indeed, Amy.
Sounds like it. Now, Braden, how's the weather looking for the Pope on the East Coast?
Amy, Dylan, over on the East Coast, Washington, D.C., and New York, it's going to be pretty nice. About 10 degrees cooler than it is here in Oklahoma. 86 right now with winds out of the southeast at 10 miles an hour. We're under mostly cloudy skies right now, and that will continue in clouds by 7 p.m. until we reach the skies that are mostly cloudy by the overnight hours, 75 at 9 o'clock, 71 at midnight with southeasterly winds continuing at 5 to 10 miles per hour.
We're having some technical difficulties. Sorry about that. The Student Government Association appointed a new vice president. Former Chief of Staff Avery Marcheski is now number 2 alongside President Alex Byron.
Marcheski says her main focus will be on mental health and diversity.
On race, but being a minority at our campus is so much more than that. It's veterans, LGBTQ, certain types of religions, and so us in these leadership positions need to make sure that all the students that are being underrepresented at our university are having a chance to have the same OU experience as the rest of the majority of our students.
For more information on the Student Government Association, visit ou.edu/SGA. Well, yesterday, European interior ministers voted in favor of a quota system for thousands of asylum seekers flooding Europe. Today, EU presidents and prime ministers met to finalize that proposal. Leslie Ottelman joins us in the News Center with the latest on the emergency summit. Leslie?
That's right, Dylan. Today in Brussels, European leaders worked to iron out the details of the proposal. The quota system will relocate more than 100,000 asylum seekers in Europe. The Czech Republic, Romania, and Slovakia and Hungary voted against the measure yesterday, but were outvoted. Leaders urged all the United Nations to work together for the system's success. And the Syrian Civil War prompts the first ever Doomsday Vault opening in Norway. The vault holds more than 800,000 varieties of backup seeds to overcome effects of the climate change, population growth, and diseases. The plan is to restart crops of wheat, barley, and recipe away from the destruction of the war. Numerous seed vaults exist around the world, but the vault buried deep in the Arctic permafrost acts as a last resort insurance policy. And Volkswagen CEO Martin Winterkorn steps down. The chief executive resigned after admitting to the U.S. regulators that its programmed computers in its cars to detect when they were being tested and alter the running of their diesel engines to conceal their true emissions. 11 million vehicles worldwide could be affected in the scandal. Volkswagen has not yet announced Winterkorn's successor. That's what's happening around the world, Dylan. Now back to you at the news desk.
Thanks, Leslie. Still ahead on OU Nightly, 2 hands on the wheel, fines for texting and driving are coming soon.
Plus, students of all ages are enjoying technology in the classroom. Straight ahead on OU Nightly.
You'll see a crowd of college students watching and interacting.
The Norman City Council passed a new law last night aimed at eliminating accidents caused by distracted driving. Beginning in November, if you're caught texting and driving, you will face a fine up to $100. This also applies to drivers stopped at a control signal. They can be cited under a different ordinance for not paying attention to the road. And for GPS users, be careful. You must listen to the directions or have your GPS mounted in your car to avoid a fine. Now, hopefully people will learn to put those phones down. We do love our technology, Eric. And just today, OU was putting on an IT show, right, in the South Oval.
Yeah, OU IT and the OU One store kicked off their first annual tech fair today in front of the Bizzell Library. They showcased some of the innovative technology being used on campus. And Facebook introduced 360-degree videos to its newsfeed platform earlier today. The first batch of videos released includes material from the makers of Star Wars, Saturday Night Live, and GoPro. The new feature works on computers and Android smartphones by either dragging your mouse or tilting your device. The company plans to roll out the feature for iOS in the coming months. And the U.S. Office of Personnel Management announced today that hackers stole 5.6 million fingerprints of federal employees. That's much higher than the agency's earlier estimate of 1.1 million fingerprints. This poses an immediate risk to American spies and undercover law enforcement agencies. Hackers now have a massive database of American government employees which can be used to identify their true identity. Anyone with these records could check to see if a U.S. diplomat is secretly an American spy and target them for arrest or assassination. And tonight on Tech Talk, we focus on the role of technology in local elementary and high schools. And as OU Nightly's Hunter McKee shows us, a little store in OU's student union is playing a big role.
At the One store on the University of Oklahoma's campus, you'll see a crowd of college students watching and interacting with different kinds of cool gadgets. But what you don't see is who else is getting their hands on these new devices.
I worked with a school to do a digital days at their school just to bring technology into the schools to see how the kids interacted with it and just show them a different way to use technology in learning.
Besides working with iPads, young Norman students are getting their hands on computers, 3D printers, the Oculus Rift, and circuits. This business, called the One U Store, has been showcasing these electronics to schools around Norman for more than a year and claims their products help students connect with learning.
After I did it, I saw the real impact it could have with other education and other parts of schools.
The students are always so excited. We've gone to elementary, middle school, and high schools, and it doesn't matter their age, they're always excited about the technology.
The store's software is also directed toward, yes, even high school students.
I didn't know how the high schoolers would react to some of the technology that we brought, if they would think, oh, this is kind of lame. But no, they were just as excited as the elementary school kids were.
The store says its next step is presenting this technology to schools outside the Norman area to help even more kids become familiar with new ways of learning. Hunter McKee, OU Nightly.
And it's always great when OU reaches out to the outlying communities.
Oh, definitely, and it's great that they're starting at such a young age, familiarizing children
Yes.
with, these advanced technologies that we're using, especially since we're using a lot of them here at our university.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Eric. The number of students suspended from OKC public schools is dropping after an investigation by the U.S. Department of Education. 7 weeks into the semester, OKC's schools have suspended more than 40% fewer students than what they did last year. The declining numbers come as the district finds new ways to handle discipline problems. An audit over a 2-year period found that the district suspended minority students at a much higher rate than white students. The district believes the best way for students to learn is to keep them in school instead of suspending them. The district is working to provide counseling to troubled students or lower suspensions even more.
Still ahead on OU Nightly, the Pope has a little trouble with his hat.
Plus, Braden is standing by with weather.
80s right now across the state, but with fall here today, when will some more reasonable weather return? I'll have that and more next. Happy first day of fall, everybody. I'm Braden along with your OU Nightly weather. Today it really didn't feel like the first day of fall. 87 degrees, low of 68, a little bit above our average for this time of year, nowhere near our records of 96 and 41. But with today being the first day of fall, what really does that mean? We're excited about it, but it doesn't really feel any different. So what does it mean? Well, the sun is over the equator right now, halfway point between summer and winter. Temperatures will begin to drop later on to September and October. Our days will become noticeably shorter. Beautiful temperatures, beautiful colors, and for most of us, pumpkin spiced everything. Coffee, clothes, maybe whenever they start coming up with that technology, I don't know. But it's fall, pumpkin spiced, they like it. I'm engaged in it a little bit too. Weather headlines for today, warm fall welcome ahead. As I said, 85, 86 degrees today. But we'll have clouds move in on Thursday, bringing a chance of thunderstorms on Friday as well. Before a beautiful weekend to head out if you're going to the Oklahoma State Fair, if you're going to stay at home, have some fun with the family. Just a beautiful weekend ahead. Tonight, midnight, we'll have some clouds begin to build into northwestern, north central Oklahoma. Some spotty showers in the Panhandle and northwestern Oklahoma that will begin to progress further south, further east. Clouds really building in by overnight hours, 8 o'clock, really moving into central Oklahoma, and also 4 o'clock, they'll stick around, hopefully begin to clear out by the evening hours, but still some more scattered thunderstorms in the northwestern portions of the state, while here we'll be enjoying some 80s still again. Lows tonight across the state, 68 in Oklahoma City, 67 in Norman, a little bit warmer over in the western portions at 70 in Elk City, and 69 in Woodward. Now as you head the door in the morning at 7 a.m., mostly cloudy skies for the majority of the day, 67 at 7, 77 at noon, 84 warming up a little bit above average. Still pretty nice with a light east-northeasterly wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Highs tomorrow across the rest of the state, 85 here in Norman, 86 in Elk City, a little bit warmer in northwestern Oklahoma, 88 and 87 in Altus. Now, as we go ahead and look at our 7-day forecast, warmer than average, chances of showers and thunderstorms on Friday and Saturday, mostly cloudy skies until you get into the weekend, 85 on Saturday, 84 on Sunday. Continuing trend and for our first full week of fall, but if you can get out and about, have a good weekend. And we have a bye week this week for the Sooner football. We just have a beautiful time.
Oklahoma State Fair going on.
Those
temperatures look
perfect.
I'll
have a look at a state fair forecast later on as well.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Well, we look forward to it.
Thank you, Briggs. Haley Huey is here now with a look at the head of sports. Haley.
Sooners have a bye week, and Coach Stoops talks about the early kickoffs. Then hopefully the Sooners defense used this week off to recover from their Tulsa performance. Sports is straight ahead. This is OU Nightly Sports. I'm Haley Huey. Last Saturday's the Sooners defense didn't seem to have the same spark they did during the Tennessee game, but Tulsa did have a tough offense to go up against. The Tulsa we saw wasn't one that we've seen before, but our defense lacked important things such as pressure on their quarterback. Also, there was a major weak spot in the back with cornerback Jordan Thomas suspended. Can't forget to mention the Sooners allowed 603 yards, which is the most we've allowed since we played Johnny Manziel at the Cotton Bowl in 2013. Hopefully with the bye week, things tighten up before conference play against West Virginia.
They stretched the field in a lot of ways, and the matchups became, tough. The speed of the game, bothered us. So simplifying what we do a little bit schematically will help our players just get lined up, and then you got to execute, and then you got to cover people when you play them.
Next week's West Virginia game is another 11 a.m. start for the Sooners. This would be OU's second straight morning kickoff, and last season the NCAA scheduled the Sooners for 6 games with the same starting time. OU fans aren't the only ones unhappy with the early starts. Bob Stutz was asked about it on Monday.
Hopefully it'd be some kind of equity on how many late or early, games you get, and get a mix for everybody,
And conference play begins for volleyball on the road tonight against Texas Tech. Coming off a disappointing 2-1 loss at the OU Invitational last weekend, the Sooners look to bounce back. With the record even at 6-6, 4 against ranked opponents. However, the Red Raiders are 11-3, including a 5-1 record at home. The Big 12 matchup begins at 6. Famous Yankees catcher Yogi Berra died late Tuesday night at the age of 90. The 3-time AL MVP helped lead the Yankees to 10 World Series titles in 14 appearances. He later coached both the Yankees and the Mets and was then announced as a member of the All-Century team in 1999. Yogi also coined famous phrases like, "It ain't over till it's over," and "When you come to a fork in the road, take it." His death comes 69 years later after his major league debut with the Yankees. It's the news all Thunder fans have been waiting for. Kevin Durant has been cleared to play without restriction. Durant only played 27 games last season because of a broken bone in his right foot. General Manager Sam Presti says he's been playing 5-on-5 and competing as normal. Chicago Cubs ace Jake Arrieta became the first pitcher in the majors to earn 20 wins this year. He held the Milwaukee Brewers to 3 hits in a complete game shutout, his 4th of the year. Arrieta is the first Cub to win 20 games in a season since John Lieber in 2001.
Wow, I don't play soccer, but that does look very amazing.
Oh,
I don't
it's
think
incredible.
I could do that.
I
wish I could score like that.
Yes, kind of reminds me of the Women's World Cup a little bit.
There you go.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Haley.
Thank you.
Still to come on OU Nightly, we'll have another look at that 7-day forecast.
Plus, the Pope just can't seem to hang on to his hat.
Just
I'm Delaney Phillips at the OU Nightly Update Desk, updating today's top stories. A national park in South Dakota will be giving the Cherokee Nation close to 50 bison tomorrow. The Cherokee Nation's Secretary of State says bison are a cultural asset to the tribe. Oklahoma City public schools are taking a different disciplinary approach with students as a result have had fewer suspensions than in past years. The wife of reality star Dog the Bounty Hunter is suing an Oklahoma man for libel, seeking more than $75,000 in damages. That's it for now. Back to you in the studio. Thanks. Now, no matter where he goes, the Pope can't seem to hang on to his hat. You got a little glimpse of it there a couple seconds ago, but hopefully we can get that video back up. There it is. Now take a look at the Pope. There goes his hat. There, and then again, he's just reading and whoop.
Oh, poor guy.
There he goes. And again, he just can't seem to hang on to it. And this one's pretty cute. Look at him. Too cute. He cannot hang on to his hat, you guys. Can you imagine having that all the time?
No, definitely an Oklahoma win. Couldn't do that. Well, thank you for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by Gaylord College.
We'll see you back here tomorrow night live at 4:30.
Good night.